All right, we're gonna be checking out Mossbag's the somewhat complete lore of Silksong video.
People have been debating what the plot of Hollow Knight's Silksong even was. Why were all those bugs obsessed with their pilgrimage to the Citadel? Who were those mysterious? Why is everyone saying her name is Hornet?
Yeah,
and calling
it's
her a
Silksong.
spider and a worm when she doesn't look like any of those things? This video also contains massive spoilers for the hit 2004 film Shrek the Third. So if you need a refresher on Shrek the Third's lore, be sure to check out my
I was holding out on this one
first. So yeah, Hornet complains about pale beings in her diary and also gets into arguments with them in her head. Which sounds pathetic, but she really does have a point.
It's true.
But this Carmelita herself can still be found, but her form has withered, her power faded by time. Judging by her withered body, she appears to be about 28 or even 29 years old.
You're basically dead at that point, especially by like anime logic or zoomer terms.
Another force in Farloom is Nihilith, a plant-like being responsible for sowing the first seed, which would eventually grow into the region of Farloom known as Shellwood.
Oh.
While Nihilith is gone by the time Hornet arrives in Farloom, Shellwood is still filled with life. In a bid to avoid destruction by Grandmother Silk's kingdom, one of the princes gave his life as tribute. But these actions proved futile, as Verdania fell to ruin anyway.
Saddest
leaving
story
the
in
land as nothing but
Silksong.
barren caverns by the time friends seduced, sweet promises whispered, the weaving ones beckon. It seems the residents of this town were drawn down into Farloom by the actions of the weavers, Grandmother Silk's spider children.
Yeah, which were already
like
made by
mother,
the time she
these
would have
spiders could
arrived
produce powerful silk from within their shells, and they even devised various tools and charms as well. Hornet herself is the child of one of these weavers, Hera the Beast. As for why Hera looks so different from the rest of the weavers, the game never really explains.
Yeah, they hadn't come up with the universal weaver design by that point. My theory at this point is basically that the weavers that are here, their silk is being more overtly manipulated and thus keeping their form uniform, if that makes sense. But Hera's not underneath any kind of control by that nature, being in Hollow Nest, thus was able to grow, change, evolve, if you will.
She's just a weaver that doesn't look like a weaver. Similar to how there are humans who just don't look like humans.
Damn.
Either way, all of that bell is rung out far and wide. The wretched and the lost will have heard its call. They'll be making their way here now. This exact same bell design can be found near a workbench in Weavenest Atla, indicating that these bells were designed by the weavers, possibly as a tool to help draw
Before he goes on too much with this, that's actually a really good bit of extrapolated data there. The idea that Weavenest Atla, a place so entirely disconnected from the path to the Citadel, makes it definitely plausible that the weavers would have no reason to have a bell like that in there, or even a design of the bell in there like that, unless they designed them.
Devoted members could even rise to the ranks of Chorister, Reed, and Grand Reed. They all joined in to see the Citadel's holy song sustained.
Yeah, see, that's how you know you're in a cult. If they tell you, like, well, we've got, choristors. That's a pretty, serious name, right? But, eventually you'll just be a Reed, which is even higher level. Or a Grand Reed. If your title in an organization has Grand before it, you're in a cult.
A good example of this can be found in the Underworks.
Yes.
Bugs are forced to work down there in inhumane conditions, being forced to spend what little rosaries they have every single time they want to rest at a bench.
True.
There's
So
a rosary
cursed.
we can see this mindset internalized by Loam, a bug endlessly running on a treadmill.
Wait, this is Loam. This is who you guys were saying, oh no, we didn't get to see Loam, and this is the kind of fucked up stuff Loam is put under?
Hornet can actually help Loam work by running on a
you
nearby
can?
treadmill. After 45 seconds or so of running, a single rosary might pop out of the device, further illustrating how the faith of these bugs is
Oh my god, that's so sick and genius. Such perfectly simple environmental storytelling. The idea that it takes you that long to get it, illustrating the point that you would never have seen this rosary because we have short attention spans. I'm just gonna go up and be like, woo, cool, I can run on it, and I'm gone in 6 seconds. But Loam's been here for years. Loam's been here forever. But you're getting paid. You're getting something out of this. See? Oh, you got a rosary. You didn't have to risk your life or anything. That's infinite rosaries. Oh my god. Yeah. Wow. Just stay strong in your fervor and belief.
Another example of a bug fully buying into the Citadel's religion is the Old Penitent. The Old Penitent is a bug locked away in the Slab, a prison complex built to punish those convicted of sinning against the Citadel.
How are there still so many things I didn't find? I 100%ed the game!
Here I can hide from the shame of my sins until they are withered away by time.
Whoa.
Leave this place? Please, strike me down dead before you speak such blasphemy again.
Oh my
Old
God.
Penitent also has the following Needleland dialogue. From wastes, from darkness, drawn down, blessed call. Sisters, accord.
Oh.
Silence above. This dialogue seems
he's
to
from
indicate
up there,
that the Old
yeah.
Penitent was
Oh.
promises. But the cruelty of the Slab doesn't just end with the prisoners. Even the jailers are trapped here. The Old Penitent explains. They too are penitents. In a past age, that caste committed their own sacrilege against the Citadel. A sin long forgotten, but so grave that their offspring and the offspring of their offspring carry the guilt with them still. To serve here is their only hope of absolution.
I fucking love it. Again, phenomenal in the little bits of story and environmental stuff that's just adding up to it overall. This was something that we had extrapolated from a lot of the garb and the way that people talked about the Citadel. So the point that just one zone is basically propagated and kept up by generational built-in guilt and shame. That is so evil. Like, that is so evil.
Hornet is generally a fairly nice person, always trying to help people and do the right thing. But even she has no sympathy for the guardflies and genuinely wants them all dead. She's like me with grubs.
Whoa,
Given what can happen to Hornet during
Mossbag,
the events
come
of
on.
Silksong, I can't really say that I'm surprised she feels this way. Hornet even hopes that killing the matriarch of the jailers, Broodmother, will end their race for good. But if she returns to the brood, and turns out a new broodling has already appeared to carry on the species. But for some reason, the game won't let Hornet kill the baby. This is an example of ludonarrative dissidence. But these aren't the only bugs born into a special kind of service. Unlike the broodling, Hornet can kill the baby squirm and vaultborn. So hopefully Team Cherry will patch the game so you can actually kill this thing.
I didn't realize it went this deep, though. This is why we watched the Mossbag video, basically, is that it goes down to all the individual species of bugs basically being bred for occupying different parts of the Citadel and maintaining aspects of the Citadel's culture through their actions and duties. Like, that's... Say what you will about Silksong. The environmental storytelling is something else. It is compelling.
According to Krull and Benjin, the two best characters in the game, Greymore used to grow all sorts of food. But at some point, the Citadel ordered these bugs to instead dedicate themselves to catching the silk dregs that drifted down from the Citadel and respool them.
That's why they have the scissors and the spools are all here.
To a less involved form of farming, breeding muck roaches for their disgusting roach guts. The smog and exhaust of the Citadel was rerouted using the exhaust organ and dumped into current-day biowater, polluting the region and incurring the hatred of the state. Now, I know a lot of you watching this are huge fans of biowater.
Chat, any biowater enjoyers? Any biowater enjoyers? Yeah? Nah, you're all lying, chat. You're for Sinner's Road. You're for Sinner's Road. You never made it to biowater. You went up the blasted steps, and you went as far east as Sinner's Road and saw the dogs and left immediately. Don't you lie to me.
The only other living member, Seamstress, has given up her violent past, instead turning to stitching and sewing. But the decommissioned automaton near her home indicates that she was indeed a powerful warrior at some point.
Oh, that's sick. That's sick. So one of the choruses has her pin stuck in its neck. That's so sick. What a cool little thing there. Like, I could have seen that. I just didn't pay attention. That's awesome. That's the fourth chorus before you wake it up? Oh, okay, gotcha.
The Citadel demanded everything they possibly could of these bugs, even trying to deny them death itself.
Yeah.
The bulletin board located in the Ventrica station reads, "Due to unacceptably high injury and unsanctioned deaths,
when I read that,
travel shall henceforth be denied to all. For Farloom Eternal, a bug who serves must never die."
Crazy.
The Citadel doesn't want its bugs to die, not out of any concern for the bugs themselves, but because dead bugs can't serve the Citadel.
Right.
All of the Citadel's cruelty was devised by your ancestors, that monstrosity, and their wicked, clever minds. A system, or a web they'd likely call it, a way to keep their mothers sealed in slumber and themselves free to lavish in their false rule.
This is a perfect little mini paragraph surmising why the Citadel zones and the conglomerate of mini zones that make it up is the best thing that I think Team Cherry has made thus far. But I genuinely think that when I was navigating that area, and obviously it's elevated by the rest of the game, kind of drawing you to it. The feeling I got being inside of it and exploring it and uncovering its dark secrets and the gleaming gold and all the intricacies of how it works and how it feels like it feels like a system. Yeah, it feels like a system or a web. I felt like I was navigating, in a lot of ways like a larger hidden spider's web that was aware of me being in there, but didn't care, because there's nothing I could do to harm this system in any way.
The bugs of the Citadel have constructed a giant loom to extract the precious silk from their sleeping monarch. They have even made this image of the cocoon inside a crook the symbol of their entire kingdom.
Whoa, you're right. You're right. It's right there all along. That's simple, but it's brilliant. Absolutely simple and brilliant. It's everywhere. I thought it always was alluding to the bells.
This indicates that the songs and prayers of the Citadel were actually designed to imprison Grandmother Silk, and this truth was hidden from the bugs of the Citadel. This appears to be corroborated by the Weaver lore tablet located near the Weaver corpse spire in Mossholm, which reads,
Whoa, wait, this is some Dune level shit. This is like the Weavers found a way to basically maybe buy themselves some time to weave, if you will, something within the religion and the lore of this world so that they could eventually be free from Grandmother Silk. Oh, this is cool. This is so cool.
Even some of the inhabitants of the Citadel hold deference to Hornet, referring to her as a first child. But why exactly did the Weavers turn on Grandmother Silk in the first place?
Well,
was she just a really callous and cruel monarch, similar to Lord Farquaad in the 2001 hit film Shrek 1? Through this action, the Weavers not only obtained freedom from sustaining the Eternal Song, but they also came to perceive themselves as the rulers of Farloom. The harps the Weavers first played the Eternal Song on for Grandmother Silk can still be found in the cradle, falling completely into disuse. A thread memory of Widow can be found here, likely because she is the only Weaver still loyal to Grandmother Silk, but we'll talk about her more later.
Whoa, wait a minute. Oh, this is gonna be sick. So basically what we're getting into here is that the Weavers desired for their servitude to end, but in so doing potentially elevated themselves in a way where their pride and arrogance came to be. Whoa, so then now we're getting into some of the specific Weavers that did things that were not basically in congruence with the rest of the general Weavers' ideas. Oh, this is going to be fun.
First Sinner reflects on this revelation saying, "She called us daughters. She called us divine. She lied."
That's
Hornet
so
even mentions that
epic.
we are told the Citadel was devised by the Weavers, and describing First Sinner as a penitent feels very much in line with the Citadel.
Now, there's an order of operations here that's important. The prison and or killing of the first sinner doesn't necessarily have to coincide with every single detail of the prison that she's in, that her corpse is in, basically. So there's certain things that you could get a little bit off into the weeds with regards to speculating on here if you assume everything going directly in with very little gaps in time. But penance by constriction could be with regards to the way that they choked her to death. Guilty of the sin of apostasy, it's interesting because it would seem more that she was then against the Weavers in general. So we'll see.
First of all, it seems there are only female Weavers, considering they always refer to each other saying sisters. This is similar to how all Labubus are female. Second, Weavers are born with a curse that makes the act of conceiving a child excruciatingly painful, rendering it a near impossible task.
Yeah.
I was unable to find any information on if conceiving a child is...
What the fuck, Mossbag? No, stop it. Get this out of my thought process.
Finds the act of hide her deep, the despised child, our shame shown in shell of iron. She is a wish cast vain, divinity mimicked in form too frail.
Oh, they say our shame there. That's so depressing. The idea that like the Weavers had solidarity amongst themselves in going against Grandmother Silk, and yet they still discriminate one of their own for basically trying to play God in the same way as Grandmother Silk did. But instead of it being something where they learn from the horrendous role model of Grandmother Silk, they then go and cast her aside. Like they're perpetuating the same trauma that Grandmother Silk does. They didn't learn anything. And they even like are just enough aware of what they're doing. She has a wish cast vain, calling themselves, vain for doing this. But then they call it divinity mimicked in form too frail. Like the issue isn't with their vainness or vanity. It's that, we didn't make Eva strong enough. It was vain that we could make something stronger than us, basically. If we were to be gods, we could not make a stone that we cannot lift. Of course, that's just impossible, right?
But she failed to be the powerful being they had hoped for. This is similar to the events depicted in the hit film Shrek 2, where Shrek and company created the giant gingerbread man, Mongo, who also tragically suffered from his form being too frail for the task. Another attempt by the Weavers to combat this, the Weavers decided to hand the Citadel over to the bugs themselves, tricking them with a technique we in the crypto space call a rug pull.
Oh no!
Despite their flight, the Weavers
The Weavers rug pulled the bugs of Farloom! Oh my god! The Weavers are giving Logan Paul a run for his money.
The game isn't exactly clear when these different factions took shape within the Citadel. It appears they've been around since before the Weavers left, given that both Vaultkeeper Cardinius and the 12th Architect seem well aware of the Weavers. These three factions were also given the threefold melody, which pilgrims needed to reach the cradle.
You know what's actually even more, just dark and impressive about this? So we've got this fake religion, right? That's built to basically trap and siphon power from a god as a form of vengeance, right? Then all the higher-ups in the cult realize, oh shit, this money-making machine isn't going to work forever. So what we should do is rug pull all of the people that we've been hawking our shitty coin to. Then we'll leave, flee the country, and then when the authorities finally come in to check and see what kind of stuff has been going on here, they'll be left holding the bag, basically. Then the part that's even crazier about this is the ones that they hand it to know what they did. All these bugs know what the Weavers did, and they're still willing to keep doing it. That's how in deep and successful the brainwashing was for all of this, that they were willing to keep holding this cage up. That's nuts.
We do see a conductor's mask all the way on the edge of Farloom.
Whoa.
Whether this was Romano's mask or not, it seems one conductor chose to flee Farloom for good instead of bearing the mantle of rule.
I love that.
I'll be honest.
That's a cool theory.
I'm sure being a conductor isn't the easiest job in the world, but it's gotta be better than being the guy who has to feed maggot gruel to muck roaches all day.
Yeah.
It's gotta be an order of magnitude more difficult, I swear. The Vault Keepers were charged with guarding the secrets of the Citadel. These strange white flies escape from their shells.
Mm-hmm.
These flies are never directly referenced by anyone in-game, but in the files they are called silk flies.
Right.
And these things show up all over Farloom.
They were definitely silk.
But where exactly do they come from? I believe the answer to that question can be found in the White Ward.
Oh, here we go. When I started this video, I was like, okay, there's a couple things I'm excited for in general, but in terms of zones, I'm excited for him to talk about White Ward lore. I am so ready.
Oath of the White Ward. While song must be sung, none may falter.
Yep.
Infirmary, sickness, death, all are banished from our Citadel.
That's such a good line for it. The idea of not the people being banished, but infirmity, sickness, and death. We're doing good. We're giving you the gift of life. That's just the perfect, mantra for a cult. None may falter. We have banished sickness, infirmity, and death.
Inside White Ward, we can find a strange device, referred to as a silk siphon within the game's code. Huddled around this device are these silk flies.
Yeah.
You can also see silk flies trapped inside this container, and an identical container can be found in the center of the silk siphon. One of these containers can also be found on the ground next to the 12th Architect.
Wait.
The Needle in the Silk Siphon room reveals the following
Wait.
dialogue. One line in particular is interesting to me.
Oh.
To serve, beyond shell.
Oh no! All the lights in the game are the souls of bugs blended into silk. Every single bit of light that was in the Citadel, all those little orbs above the ceilings. Oh no! Oh, this is so fucked up. Just delightful. Just delightfully, deliciously disgusting world building.
In the Silkheart cutscene after defeating Lace in the cradle, we get some dialogue hinting at Grandmother Silk's motivation for creating Lace. Better a child spun mad than none. Better a child spun frail than none. Better a child spun pure than them.
Oh! Whoa, that's right. Oh, fuck. Okay.
At some point, the Pale King asked Hera to become a dreamer, a role which would require her to fall into an eternal sleep. Hera agreed, but only if the Pale King gave her a child. The exact details of what happened next are far too dangerous to discuss here on YouTube, so please type this URL into your browser if you really
Please tell me
want
about
to
the Pale
know.
King of the Hera the
Either
best.
way, the result of all this was prove yourself more weaver than worm.
Wow.
But Hera challenged this, telling Hornet, ignore them, daughter.
Yeah.
They're whispers.
Oh.
Greater, grander, weaver, guardian, queen.
Right.
Those are their desires.
I loved this bit so much in the Red Memory. It just filled my heart with emotion. The idea that oftentimes you can actually impart generational trauma by the way that you put the burden on the next generation to solve the problems that you passed on to them in your generation. I cannot tell you how often well-meaning people fuck up their kids by saying, you will be the one that will save everybody from the shit that we had to deal with. And all you're doing is saying, we pass responsibility and the buck onto you. It was too hard for us. We assessed the risks of how it would affect us, and we kind of ran from that. We didn't want to deal with it. No, it was too much for us. But certain themes of this can get lost because we're in video game where we're the main characters, so we're going to succeed. But the idea that Hera specifically says, no, daughter, no. That's their desires, that's not yours, it's not mine, so go, just be free. And the idea that there's still some good in what the Weavers are saying in that you could go and save Farloom. Now, it doesn't matter necessarily what their intentions are, good or not. There's many bugs that need to be saved in Farloom, for sure. But the idea that, this is your burden. You're born for this. This is the Weavers making the same mistake again with Ava. They didn't learn again, and they're like, okay, we're going to make another demigod child. Instead of making a god, we'll make a demigod that can learn and evolve and be something more and different than us. And they were right. They're right. It did work that way. But the idea that it wouldn't have worked if this had been imparted through Hornet's upbringing. Hornet then goes to basically become the guardian of Hallownest and doesn't go to Farloom for a long time. Hornet is old. Yeah, I love the Red Memory so much for how it enhances Hornet's story.
As the party arrives in Farloom, a silkfly appears out of nowhere and breaks the rune on Hornet's cage. Hornet escapes from her captor.
Wait, they were even setting it up back then. Wait, that's so cool. I completely forgot that it was a silkfly that did that. It's just another bound soul seeing someone suffering and bound themselves and goes, I'm gonna do what I can. And probably had to die in order to do that. This game just gets better the more you think about it. There's so many themes explored within this game, but I love the way in which the themes of the game kind of consistently carry you throughout the, you could say they're woven into the narrative and the background, the environment and stuff.
Along the way, Hornet will meet beloved characters such as Quiet Pilgrim, Fearful Pilgrim, Aged Pilgrim,
The
Tall
Sherma
Pilgrim,
disrespect. I
Solemn
cannot.
Pilgrim,
I cannot with
Worried
you.
Pilgrim, Dejected Pilgrim, Wary Pilgrim, Exhausted Pilgrim,
Yep.
Pilgrim Preacher, Humble Pilgrim, Scared Pilgrim, Horned Pilgrim.
You can hear it in the way that Mossbag is saying this, that he's trying so hard not to laugh.
Or she can venture through Sinner's Road to find the Mist, a strange region of warped space in Farloom full of silk flies and vengeful wraiths.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I ever went to this zone. Do you guys remember the Mist? I don't remember the Mist. I think I missed it. I don't know. I think I don't remember going here. Is this like one of those like skill issue things where if you're bad at the game, you deal with something longer, you know? And it's
Hornet tells Lace she knows a higher being is responsible for the haunting overtaking Farloom.
Yeah.
Lace mocks Hornet, telling her that she has no chance of defeating Grandmother Silk. Hornet replies by saying, "I found those who claim themselves a god can rarely match the title. And
Such a
experience
mic
tells
drop
me
moment.
Even gods can fall."
Such a mic
After
drop
this
moment for
interaction,
Hornet.
Grandmother Silk lets out a scream, and the Citadel comes to life with the haunted husks of Citadel bugs.
That was absolute cinema. Like this whole scene and moment right here. You just beat the last judge. You're going into the Citadel. The gates are opening. The gold halls awaken to you. The music changes. You see Lace sitting there having that like, oh, you finally made it here. And giving that, maddening little chuckle and laugh. And then, oh, you're gonna throw the G word around here. Calling your master or whoever has spun this whole haunting a god. Well, they can rarely match the title, and even gods can fall. And then just Grandmother Silk, like, enraged at the blasphemy, just then erupts with power and awakens the Citadel to respond to you. Like, this is so good. This is so good. This is after the underworks, actually. Yes, that's true, because you do end up falling and then going down around the area there. So, yes, the pacing of it is not necessarily that immediate. That's a good point, yeah.
The two dance the dance of unparalleled beauty. With every step, every turn,
Mossbag,
every
get good,
goddamn
damn.
exploding ball executed exactly as choreographed. But then tragedy struck, when Hornet straight up murders Trabio for real, live on stage.
Wait!
Trabio made the ultimate sacrifice. She's not bug-like at all. She's like some kind of weird woman. This is what a woman looks like, by the way. After defeating her, Hornet binds
Can't. Mossbag. I can't. She's a Pixar mom, oh my god.
Dominance, it seems, is baked deep in my blood. As too, no doubt, for the one up top. And yet, another part resists. A part, over time, I find myself siding with more.
Yeah.
That part wishes not to claim a monarch's mantle. Rather, it would see my freedom regained, and this kingdom's bugs unshackled from their pale chains.
I love this so much. The idea that the story of Silksong is Hornet, probably one of the most hard-ass NPCs in Hollow Knight, gaining, I'm going to use in a blanket term, humanity here, gaining basically an emotional connection through the power of friendship with all these NPCs that she helps and does quests for, wishes, by the way, and ends up kind of detaching herself from that idea of, oh, I am a pale being, so I'm going to then, condescend to all these lesser beings. And no, it's actually that she realizes, oh, no, this feels good. This feels good, making bonds and building a connection with all of them here. And so we end up being actually the savior of this kingdom in our quest for the power to supplant the god. Well, we end up having to help all these people along the way, and it's just like, oh, that's so sweet. Yeah, and this path is only available by enough side quests too. Yeah, exactly. So you are reinforcing that in a lot of ways, Hornet's character development is what allows her to find a path of freedom for everybody else. So in some ways, it's Hornet casting aside that which puts her above everybody, so that she can be amongst them. In some ways, the silk was not meant to be held above like threads. that, control and manipulate, but they were meant to bind souls together, to have us all working together.
Both pale beings will get tangled in the parasite's roots and be
Right.
turned into some kind of hardened plant material. Then this happens. So I don't think that's a particularly good ending either.
Nope.
But the
Bad.
bad endings don't. Hornet awakens to find that all of Farloom has been altered, with environments wrecked by the appearance of black threads, NPCs killed in the quakes, and enemies possessed by void.
Okay.
Hornet travels back to the ruined chapel where she...
Okay, so we need to talk about Act 3, y'all. Do you think Act 3 is in any way one of the negatives of Silksong in general? Or would you say Act 3 is perfect, no flaws, 10 out of 10? What would you say is maybe like the worst part about Act 3? The increased difficulty is a reward for finding it. True. Act 3 should have banished Bilewater into the abyss. I think that in a lot of ways, the only negative of Act 3 is that a lot of people are probably never going to do Act 3. So for me, there's like no negatives to it at all. But the amount of people that might never do Act 3 and thus think that Silksong only had that much content and stuff because they got the ending there. Like, I don't think FromSoft has done anything this egregious of saying, you don't deserve this giant Toblerone then, The reason why they hid it is not because they're keeping out the normies or anything like that. This part kind of indirectly ruins Hollow Knight. like this is the thing that all the people that are playing Silksong for the first time probably won't necessarily find. The people that have played Hollow Knight, though, and know what Team Cherry likes, how they design environments and stuff, is like, nah, we're going to find this shit. We're definitely going to get to Act 3.
Brought the delicate flower from a faraway land, and requests that the knight take the flower to the grave of her dead lover, the Traitor Lord's daughter. I don't know what it is with Team Cherry and tragic dead gay lovers. But if you are gay or have a gay lover and Team Cherry wants to put you in their game, maybe stop and think about it first. If the knight tries to give the delicate flower to them, which will allow her to access the memories of these bugs from when they were in their prime. So basically like traveling to a pocket dimension.
A down-pitched
This is similar to the
Needle
film
song.
Shrek Forever After.
Oh my god,
Hornet
it
finds
came
Little
back.
Scattered
There it
across
is.
Farloom. Hornet can also, completely unprompted mind you, track down the Green Prince on the border of Verdania and murder him while he mourns the loss of his lover. Hornet will then call him...
Who would do such a thing? Who? That seems like, cringe behavior, Absolutely. Could never be me. Sounds like a statue destroyer. Sounds like someone who throws bombs at a statue of poor hapless pilgrims, Thou art cringer. Yes, well said.
in her murder journal. What the fuck, Hornet? This means Hornet can actually acquire 4 old hearts. Whichever one she doesn't give to the snail shamans will get put on a shelf in her bell home. Hornet descends into the abyss again, where Lace stops her to chat one more time, saying,
God,
"Take
this
the final
hopeful,
plunge, Spidey.
triumphant music
Join
was
us in
so
my drowning
good.
palace, and let oblivion swallow us all." Hornet rebuffs Lace, saying, "Oblivion may take you, child. My own life I shall not sacrifice. I have survived the fury of your land. I have borne its barbs and its blades, and I have seen wonders behind its dangers.
This was so fucking good.
And it's also the only time in the entire game the word Hallownest is spoken.
Right.
Which, considering Hollow Knight is 8 years old at this point, I think legally qualifies as nostalgia bait.
It's fan service. Fan service to the highest,
Hornet begins
point,
her
though.
descent. The ever-hungry void tendrils take this opportunity to strike, but are stopped by none other than the Knight, who has arrived in Farloom with the rest of the Shades. We even briefly see the Knight's focused form, indicating that the Knight has likely been elevated in power by the ritual. We never really got a sense of the Knight's desires in the events of Hollow Knight, but I feel the Dream No More ending was about the Knight and its siblings destroying the Radiance. Not because they wanted to save Hallownest or anything.
They wanted to be free.
But because they wanted to free the Hollow Knight from its suffering. Trapped in the black egg, separated from its siblings.
The family together.
The Knight also choosing to help Hornet, another one of its siblings, implies that the Knight really does care for her. And it's not like Hornet also didn't help the Knight as well, guiding it towards the King's brand so it could learn the truth of its conception. So the Knight helping Hornet here is another example of how Hornet helping others leads to the world of Hollow Knight being a better place, at least in some ways.
That's exactly what I was saying earlier. Yes, he gets it. He gets it too. The true ending of Hollow Knight has Hornet look back after waking and seeing the knight's mask crack. Here she turns back and Lace this time is alive. She succeeded where she failed before. Wow.
What is this game even about? Maybe it's a story about lineage, and how we shouldn't let our ancestors decide our fate. Or it might be a biting criticism of how religion is a tool used by the powers that be to extract labor from the unwitting proletariat.
Also
it
fair,
could be an examination on the nature of truth and how the web of lies we spin will inevitably ensnare us.
Sure.
Perhaps it's a story about the relationship between mothers and daughters.
Also
and how
true,
mutual
yeah.
love and respect should be shared between them, with no strings attached. Or maybe spiders are just assholes.
Also, yes. Very true. Very true. Yes. Fuck spiders. All my homies hate spiders. That's exactly right. That's exactly the point of this. Yeah. Well said. Well said. Incredible. 10 out of 10. Phenomenal game. Yeah. Just be better if there were no spiders. Yep. Yes. Subscribe to Mossbag, y'all. Go give that video a like if you haven't already. The Silksong was real. It gave us more than we could have expected. Completely satisfied in almost every way with the game.